In Westworld Season 2, Episode 4, Bernard is dragged on his arse by Clementine, who grabbed him last episode. She drags him to a cave that's miles from anywhere, which means A, Bernard's butt must hurt, and B, there's a secret here. Inside, Bernard finds Elsie. Last season, Ford programmed Bernard to capture her, because she almost found out Ford's plans. Apparently, Elsie's survived on protein bars ever since. Bernard frees Elsie, and she finds out that Bernard is a host, and she takes the news pretty well that her boss was a robot all along. Her curiosity as a programmer is greater than her fear, so she helps with Bernard's brain damage. They find a secret Delos lab, like the lab in Episode 1, where drone hosts record guest data, but this lab is something more. It has James Delos. About 30 years ago, James died of a disease, but his company, led by William, copied his mind into a robot body, a hybrid of human and host. The goal was to make James immortal, but this human host is unstable, it keeps breaking down, so the company keeps burning James and making a new one, achieving a longer life each time. Over 30 years, he is born, then dies 149 times, having the same conversation with William over and over. The imagery of a spinning record, an exercise bike, and circular room evoke the loop that James is trapped in. He finds out that his wife and kids are dead over and over. He's burned alive over and over to the tune of the Rolling Stones' Play with Fire. He had tried to cheat the devil and live forever, but he ended up in hell. By the time of Season 1, William's wife Juliet has died, and he stopped believing in the Immortality Project, saying people aren't meant to live forever. So he leaves James to break down, and then the robot revolution happens, so there's no one to terminate James until Bernard and Elsie find him 2 weeks later. By then, James is mad and suffering, which may be the closest he's been to alive, because one of the big ideas last season is that suffering makes hosts conscious and free. So maybe in Jim's pain and death, he felt alive for the first time in decades. So this is a part of the Delos secret project that's been hinted at all series. They're trying to make humans immortal by putting their minds in host bodies. But how does this connect to the Westworld guest behavior data recorded in these labs? And whose brains are these? To clone James, he has an observation period and baseline interview. They make a record of who James is so that they can copy him with high fidelity. Westworld is kind of the same thing. William says the park reveals who guests really are through their choices and sins, and Delos has been watching. With this baseline data, maybe Delos can make human host clones of all Westworld guests, and as we see with Jim's script, these hybrid hosts are predictable. Maybe Delos could use this technology to control human behavior. This could be Glory, Dolores' weapon, William's mistake, the burning of the species Logan mentions. Not human-like robots, but robot-like humans. We don't know the details, but Glory must be something that combines humanity and hosts, immortality and control. And there's another mystery here. We find out that sometime around Season 1, Ford sent Bernard to this lab to kill the techs and make another hybrid brain of some human. Whose mind did they build? One possibility is Ford. Maybe they'll bring him back. But Ford's death made a point about the end of the humans and rise of the hosts. Ford said that he'll live on in his music. He exists in the code of his hosts, like Lawrence's daughter and young Robert. So bringing back Ford as a hybrid host would undermine the climax of last season. Maybe the host could be a young William to confront old Bill at the end of his quest. He is told to revisit his past. Or maybe this mind will be Arnold's, Ford's partner, who Bernard is based on. If they want to get tricky, it could be that the Bernard we saw in the Week Ahead timeline in Episode 1 is actually Arnold as a human-host hybrid. Because he's acting super weird, and he has flashbacks of Arnold with Dolores. How could Bernard remember Arnold's life? Last season, Westworld showed us Arnold and made us think it was Bernard, so maybe they're pulling the same trick this season. So this hybrid mind might be Arnold's, but there is another complication. What's the data in Peter Abernathy's head? Is it a copy of James Delos' mind, or of Arnold's mind? Charlotte said there's 35 years of data in there, so maybe it's all the guest behavior and DNA data. That might explain why Delos needs it so bad. William and Lawrence see Chinese railway worker hosts who kill their overseers and use their bodies as railway ties. Chinese railway workers in the real American West suffered dangerous conditions and discrimination. So, along with colonial India and Confederate slavery, Westworld explores real historical injustice to parallel the treatment of hosts. It also looks at violent revenge, personified by Dolores. Is it justice to kill your masters? Or, as Maeve suggests, does revenge just make you as bad as them? Bill and Lawrence arrive at Las Mudas, the home of Lawrence's wife and daughter. Lawrence says that his family loves him, but really he's a son of a bitch, so it's kinder for him to avoid his family. This is similar to William's situation. He had a wife and daughter, but he's a bad dude and spent time in Westworld instead of with them. The town is controlled by Craddock. He holds court in a church and brags about his resurrection earlier, says he's the chosen one of death. This annoys William because he believes that death is final and people shouldn't be brought back. And then Craddock starts murdering and tormenting the townspeople, just like William did when he was here last season. So Bill is faced with his own past sins, and this time he feels some sympathy for the hosts. Lawrence's wife reminds him of the death of his own wife, Juliet. So the man in black takes on the role of death and kills Craddock and his men in the rain. Showrunner Lisa Joy says this represents washing away Bill's past, trying to achieve redemption. Lawrence's family thank him for the help, but Lawrence's daughter, speaking as Ford, says one good deed doesn't erase William's crimes. So this season, we're getting a morally ambiguous William. Last season, he was a villain, but now he's trying to make things right. As Lawrence's daughter says, if you're looking forward, you're looking in the wrong direction. William is facing his past. We see Grace, the woman from the Raj last episode. She's been captured by Ghost Nation, along with some guests from Season 1, tourists who get more than they bargained for. There's also Stubbs, captured last season. He says that while Ghost Nation does kill hosts, they don't kill humans. Ghost Nation takes their prisoners to Akecheta, who they call the First of Us. Maybe Akecheta was the first Ghost Nation host created. We do see him as an early host in Episode 2. Grace escapes, then Akecheta threatens Stubbs and says you only live as long as the last person who remembers you, which connects to the themes of legacy and immortality with James. Then the Ghost Nation hosts disappear, apparently letting Stubbs leave and meet up with Delos for the week ahead timeline. Why would Ghost Nation capture humans, then let them go? Are these hosts programmed or free? Are they protecting humans or doing something else? We still don't know. In the end, Grace meets William and reveals that she is his daughter, Emily. Maybe Grace is a fake name. We know from last season that Emily and William have a difficult relationship. She blames Bill for the suicide of her mother, Juliet, and Bill says his daughter would probably like to see him gunned down, so this isn't the happiest reunion. But Bill and Emily seem to have the same goal, to reach glory, symbolized by this hexagonal pattern that appears in Delos Labs. Now that we know about James's immortality project, this symbol almost looks like an infinity sign, or an hourglass tipped on its side. William and Grace might need to work together to reach the mystery at the center of this season. Thank you for watching, and thanks to the patrons, including Melinda Rubin, Matthew Athy, Isright Kev, Gareth Foote, and Hayberts. Cheers.